Welcome to another episode of the Plant-Based Jan Adventure Series. I'm trying to find the coolest places on the planet while living a healthy lifestyle on the road. For me, that's plant-based. Now that's an adventure. It's time to head to Hawaii, and even though one could stay for a long time, I'm doing my 10 days in 15 minutes. Let the countdown begin. First, let's slow it down a little to talk about Kauai. Kauai is the oldest island in the chain and the most northwestern island. I should clarify, inhabited island. If you're looking for a deserted one, there's another 100 or so to choose from. It's vastly undeveloped. It features canyons, towering cliffs, and volcanic peaks that soar over 5,000 feet high. Not real buildable. If you're driving here and there, it all feels small town, and there's a reason for that. There are height restrictions inspired by the idea of keeping buildings no taller than a coconut tree. The idea was to preserve the island's natural beauty, though the actual limits are set by zoning laws. If you're looking for cities and skyscrapers, this is not your island. Let's talk about the climate. There's sun and there's rain, lots of it. Depending on where you are on the island, there may be hundreds of inches of rain annually. The south and the west coast are drier due to the rain shadow effect. Why are parts of Kauai some of the wettest spots on Earth? It's the partnership of the ocean and the mountains. Persistent, moisture-heavy trade winds traveling over the small circular body of land, the island, then hit tall mountains like Mount Wailua. By the way, that name actually means rippling waters. The mountains bring down those tropical water temperatures in the clouds, so when you look up and you see clouds, you're really seeing the origin of Kauai's rivers and all of this water, and it's a reminder that it could be about to pour. You can see that the clouds just came in. Here we have a beautiful lake. Actually, no, it's a parking lot. Even with the clouds and the rain, temperatures average in the high 70s to low 80s, and that ocean there, pretty much the same. While the temperatures may not be extreme, the rainfall is, and that brings us to one of our highlights, the waterfalls. How many waterfalls does Kauai have? Many. The better question may be, how many can you get to? There are a couple of easy ones to see from the road. We're headed to Wailua Falls. I'm overly excited because these double falls were featured on the opening of a show I watched as a kid, Fantasy Island. They are just over 5 miles away from Lahui down this grassy road. Can you go down into that gorgeous pool? Apparently, yes. There's a steep trail with a rope. Do they want you to? Apparently no. That's why almost all of the pictures and the videos are from the lookout right up here. The falls are around 80 feet high, and if you get here when the light is just right, you will see an amazing rainbow. 10 miles away is another roadside falls area, Opaekaa Falls. View the falls from one side of the road or watch the boats and the paddleboarders on the other side of the road. The Wailua River, known as the only navigable river in all of Hawaii. If you see the larger boats out there with people, they are most likely headed to a spot called Fern Grotto. This is a popular 1+ hour tour. Back on the road in our rental car, or I should say rental Jeep, for the next highlight. Driving the Kauai Loop. Of course, we can't close the loop. The stunning Na Pali coast is in the way and has no roads. The perimeter is over 70 miles, depending on exactly where you start and stop. You'll be on Highway 50, the Kuhio Highway on the southern coast, and on 56, the Hanama'ulu Highway along the eastern and northern shores. There are so many stops and beaches, but the drive itself is just gorgeous. You've got many miles of oceanfront. There are rivers and creeks to cross, and you need to get used to those one-lane bridges. You go from the wet jungles to the drier climate as you travel the perimeter of this island. And inside that driving perimeter, there's one of Hawaii's most stunning geological features. It's known as the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. Waimea Canyon is a must-see. It's approximately 14 miles long, 1 mile wide, and it plunges to a depth of over 3,600 feet. It's easy to find. You just go to the aptly named Waimea Canyon Drive. It's very accessible with many lookouts offering views from different angles and platforms, and the best selfies, or even peeks from your car as you drive along. At the very end of Waimea Canyon are a couple more lookouts and trails that can get you down into the valley. The Kalalau lookout is fantastic, but even better in my opinion is right down the road, another one where it opens up, the ridge is all open, you can hike down in there and have more of a view. This is the end of the line of this road up here, but we're gonna keep on going because I'm thinking there's huge views up there. There's a gate, so I just parked, I'm gonna walk in. They had closed the gate right there, and so it was quite a walk to get to that lookout. You can see this is some world-class hiking if the weather cooperates. You can also get the opposite views down on the ocean in a boat tour looking up at that Na Pali coast where we are now. After hiking, I think it's time for a little beach action, and we're headed to a favorite area, Poipu Beach, via the famous tree tunnel. First, let's stop at Spouting Horn since it's just a couple miles up the road, and we'll get a shot of that. Easy parking lot, fantastic views. Poipu Beach is comprised of a couple of crescents with shallow waters. Another bonus is that it's on the south or the sunny side of the island. This is where we spent our 10 days. A great opportunity to go out and visit the Hawaiian green sea turtles. The best times are late afternoon or early evening, and when we were there, there was always at least a dozen. Saw them on several nights. It seems that every creature loves those sunset shows. Good morning! It just so happens that 4 million coffee trees are planted right up the road on this side of the island too. I think we need to go check this out and get some.
I'm a store buy it.
Yeah, everything here is
Really good, not too dark, not too light. It's just right in the middle. Here's the beans, and once a year, one of these trees gives off 1 pound. I'm kind of just going around exploring and picking things off trees. Really fun to poke around the largest coffee grower in the United States.
We are highlighting coffee that got just roasted today. We got a coffee aged in a rum barrel.
Open daily 9 to 5.
This is sample number 6, I think. It was time to cut me off and head back on the highway. We're heading over to the east side of the island. One of the many gorgeous destinations on the east side of the island is the Kilauea Point Lighthouse, and it's a national wildlife refuge as well. One interesting fact is this piece of property was originally purchased for $1 by the U.S. government from a sugar plantation. Heading up to the lighthouse. The lighthouse was built early in the century to serve ships that were headed from Asia to the west coast of the United States. Continuing north, we are almost to the end of the line before the Na Pali coast, except if you're a hiker and want to continue that way through the park. We are going to check out Hanalei Bay and the little town of Hanalei. Look at this cute little town. And now that I'm out on the pier, I'm looking up at those mountains. I want to hike in there. However, I found out too late. You need a permit, you need to go through the park, and you need to walk along places like Crawler's Ledge or Crawler's Edge. I'm not sure if I'm up for that. We're going to turn this thing around, go all the way back to the other side, and come in on a dirt road to access more of these mountains via our Jeep. We actually came into the Polihale State Park yesterday. We wanted to see another angle of the Na Pali coast, as well as the longest stretch of beach in Hawaii. It joins with the Barking Sands Beach for 17 miles of remote sand and surf. It's also steeped in Hawaiian mythology. Some believe it is here that souls leap into the spirit world through a gateway. I'm not really seeing that, just the uninterrupted ocean that goes on for over 2,000 miles. Kauai has an abundance of stunning beauty beaches and chickens. Yes, feral chickens, regal, plain, big and proud, small and skittish, everywhere. You see them, you hear them, because there are nearly 500,000 chickens. I just love them. I will say my sleeping quarters were soundproof, so if that's not the case, you get a free alarm clock. A state law protects them, so they go on doing what they do, eating bugs and enjoying lots of nooks and crannies all around Kauai.
Some aggressive roosters here.
Don't attack me, bro.
Ooh, look at, she's beautiful.
Put your hand down, you might.
The chickens aren't native, but the Hawaiian monk seal is, and as our time, the clock, was winding down, I found a solitary beach via a neighborhood. Not knowing anything about it, we took a very steep red dirt path to the water and discovered a quiet gem.
Well, this is a cool secret beach. We got down to this beach and I was just thinking to myself, there's nobody down here, thinking this would be a fantastic spot for turtles or seals, and look.
Staying a respectful distance, it was magical to just hang out with my new friend. They have little hairs on their head that makes them look like a monk. We did see a couple in the Poipu area, but you have to share those encounters with dozens of other beachgoers, and they fence them off because of that. This was different. It was the kind of beach and experience you dream of when you come to an island that is mostly uninhabited. Goodbye, Kauai. Goodbye, seal. There is so much more to this island. Boat tours, hiking, ATV adventures. I can't begin to name them all right now, but I will be back for sure. Just subscribe to see what's next. Thanks so much for coming along on this greatest journey we call life.
The more I swim, the more I'm sinking.
a little papaya. Fresh papayas, coconuts were right by the side of the road.